Milwaukeeans have long savored their beer and brats, but it appears people here are also pretty fond of their coffee, and one type in particular. Milwaukee was the third community in the United States to be declared a fair trade town back in 2007. Now there are dozens on the list. And one of the most popular fair trade products is coffee. WUWM News intern Caitlin Penzie-Moog looks into the business here on the eve of a fair trade crawl.
Records indicate that coffee is the world's second most traded commodity, only after oil, and Americans consume 1/5 of the world's coffee. Shops have popped up across the country, including in Milwaukee, and in many, you'll notice fair trade signs. So before I go any further, I'll explain exactly what fair trade is. It's a way for farmers in developing countries who raise coffee beans to get a decent price for them. The farmers form co-ops, so they have more crops to sell, and then work directly with fair trade companies in the U.S. One is Peace Coffee in Minneapolis. Lee Wallace is in charge.
So what we're doing is we have a direct relationship with that co-op. We set our pricing based on what is a fair price for those coffee beans. That coffee gets shipped from port at the origin at which we're purchasing the coffee from, and then comes to our warehouse and roastery, and that's where we turn it into a great tasting cup of coffee.
You inhale the smell of coffee the moment you open the door at Sven's Cafe in Bayview. Owner Steve Goretzko has posted signs letting customers know that he serves fair trade products.
All the regular coffees we serve are fair trade. Today we have a Bolivian and a Nicaraguan fair trade coffee available, as well as a Swiss water decaf Mexican that's also fair trade. And we believe in promoting fair trade on a daily basis. So every time you come into Sven's, there's always a cup of fair trade available.
And the beans have been arriving by the ton. The group Fair Trade USA verifies that products meet particular standards. And last year, it certified nearly 109 million pounds of coffee arriving. That's a record.
I don't drink coffee too often, but whenever I do go buy some, that is, a label I look for.
Sarah Hannikin is a student at UWM who just bought 5 pounds of Altera's Mexican blend. The local company sells more than a dozen kinds of coffees that are fair trade certified.
It just means that the people who grew the coffee have been given a fair amount of the profit, and that corporations or whatever haven't taken more than their fair share.
But of all the coffee shops in Milwaukee that offer fair trade, one stands out. It's called Brewing Grounds for Change on Farwell, and
we're an anomaly.
That's Janelle Jenny. She and others behind the counter, pouring coffee and pulling shots for espresso drinks, work here for free. They want the profits to get back to the farmers.
Once you're enlightened on the conditions that some of these farmers in these underdeveloped countries that grow this coffee, what they currently have and what they want, and it's an emotional thing, really, when it boils down to it. People understand that other people just want to live. They just want to send their kids to school, and if something as small as your cup of coffee and where you specifically choose to get it from can help somebody just live a better life in a very direct way. I mean, it is very direct. It's not this idea that, maybe eventually those cents go to this farmer.
There's an enormous map on the wall showing where the coffee is from. And the shop features fair trade cocoa, sugar, and tea, too. It's shops like this that people can stop in at during tomorrow's Fair Trade Crawl, when shops in Milwaukee will showcase their fair trade goods. Caitlin Penzie-Moog, 89.7 WUWM.